Well, obviously, I've got to start with what went down last night. Like the NFL, if the NFL is trying to drive us into the asylum with these primetime games, it's working. It's working. And again, not my point of view. Take it from somebody who was right in the middle of the whole thing. Broncos safety, Justin Simmons, said it best, quote, "Everyone knows the definition of insanity, and we can't keep doing the same things week in and week out and think things are going to change." End of quote. See, the thing is, it's not just a Bronco thing. It is a Bronco thing, but not just a Bronco thing. Like, everybody knows the definition of insanity, and that's watching the Broncos in prime time over and over and over and over again, and then thinking somehow this time it's going to be different. Somehow this time it's going to be watchable. Somehow this time I won't want to gouge my own eyes out and chuck my TV through my window. And the thing is, for a minute last night, it did seem like it might be different, especially when Russell Wilson started the night 10 for 10 for 116 yards and a TD in the first quarter. For a second there, Russ actually was cooking. For a second there, Broncos country actually was riding.
Broncos country, let's ride.
And then that ride crashed into a flaming ditch and burned along with any hope or any optimism in Denver, because Russ then wound up completing 5 passes for the rest of the game. Over the 3 remaining quarters, plus overtime, Russ went 5 for 18 for 72 yards. In the second half in OT, he was 3 for 11 for 15 yards. 3 for 11 for 15 yards. In the second half in overtime, we're talking about a future Hall of Fame quarterback, allegedly still in his prime, securing a $245 million bag this offseason. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? We're talking about a quarterback who Denver traded 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, Shelby Harris, Noah Fant, and Drew Lock for. And then the contract. I'm going to ask the unthinkable right now. And no, I'm not looking to troll anybody. I'm not looking to get anybody to react to me or look at me. I'm going to ask a legitimate, straight-up question, and I mean this. Do you think that they're missing Drew Lock right now in Denver? Yes, I said it, and I mean it, because as bad as that guy was, I'm not sure he ever looked as bad as Russ looks right now. But don't take my word for it. Why don't we go to a more credible source? Why don't we go to the ultimate source? Why don't we go to the most credible source, the source that is NFL Twitter? Because Drew Lock, a.k.a. the Seahawks backup QB, was in fact trending last night, which says pretty much anything you need to know about Russ's performance and where he stands right now with Broncos country. Hey, and to that point,
Broncos country.
To that point, where was my super cringy Broncos country let's ride from Russ after another disastrous performance? Do not subject me to 4 hours of that garbage and then not pay it off with that gift of cringe. That is the least you could do. You owe me that. You owe all of us that. That dude, after that game, has to get up on that podium and give us what we want, what we deserve, and what we all earned. The ultimate corn and cringe. The ultimate Broncos country, let's ride.
Broncos country, let's ride.
And then quickly exit stage left. What looked like one of the greatest trades ever may already be the worst trade ever. They're on the hook for $165 million with this guy in guaranteed money. I mean, how smart does Seattle look suddenly? How dumb does Denver look suddenly? And frankly, how bad does Russ look right now? But it's not all on him, right? You want to talk about cringy. You want to talk about overmatched. You want to talk about in way over your head. How about Russ's coach, Nate Ritt? That makes me laugh. It's premium. It's free. I'm not sure I have ever seen a first-year head coach not named Pervin. Fire. Happy Hump Day Eve, Pervin.
Get out of Dodge.
I'm not sure I have ever seen a first-year head coach not named Pervin look less prepared for an opportunity than this Ritt doppelganger. Mike McCarthy cannot believe how undisciplined this dude's team is, nor how horrible he is in managing the clock and making adjustments. No way, shape, or form does Nate Ritt Hackett look like he is prepared for this gig, nor does his team look prepared to play. I mean, I would love to roll some highlights for you. This is a TV show along with a radio show. I would love to roll some highlights for you, except there weren't any. Well, there was a muff, just like the last time we were collectively tortured during a weeknight primetime game, which was all of 5 days ago. In fact, it felt like we were watching the exact same game right back, like they ran it back, like last Thursday's turning point in that Bears-Commanders slop fest. Remember, the best offense last night, like last week, was the Chargers punt team. How good a word is muff?
Muff.
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 Especially to describe that. Muff.
Muff. Muff.
I'm seriously, that was the most heads-up play of the entire game. Coach Nate Ritt had his dude out there blocking for a fair catch. So Bolt's rookie, Jasir Taylor, blew up the blocker and the fair catch, which was not only completely legal, it was incredibly heady. I'm not kidding. Tossed Jasir Taylor the freaking game ball from making a heads-up play in a game that mostly featured heads up their asses. And then tossed another game ball to Dustin Hopkins, who's out there playing with a blown hammy, and still stepped up to nail the game winner from 39 yards out and effectively and finally put all of us out of our collective misery. Muff.
Muff.
Not there. I just like the word. Muff. So dude had a bum leg, and he still carried the team on his back last night. He was 4 for 4 in that game, and he was the difference in that game, which says everything you need to know about that game. It was the second weeknight primetime game in a row where we got bonus football that nobody wanted to watch. Normally, free football is awesome. It's free, and it's premium. Who doesn't want more of something we love for free? Except it's no longer free, is it? Free football really is not free. Free football, in this case, is actually very costly. It costs us precious minutes that we'll never get back. It costs us irreparable damage to our sanity. So free is no longer free. Free is no longer me. Somehow, the Coach Ritt show is even more cringe than the Garrett Ritt show, no matter what Alvin plays underneath it.
Thank you.
Congratulations for still being above ground, brah. He's still here. I didn't think anything could be more cringe than the Garrett Ritt show, but the Coach Ritt show is. I mean, the Broncos were hideous. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, Rome, the Chargers were not much better. I know this. I'm getting there. Frankly, they did not look much better, did they? And here's the thing. Say what you will about Brandon Staley, and I know you will, you have, you do. And a lot of you have plenty to say. But I will say this about him. The dude is 4-2. He is 4-2. I'm not saying that the Chargers played well, because they didn't. But they did survive that game. They survived, they advanced, they got the dub. Unlike Coach Ritt, Brandon Staley got the result. Unlike Coach Ritt, Brandon Staley's quarterback is not $250 million noose around the franchise's neck. What I'm saying is the sky is not falling here in SoCal like the sky is falling right on Russ's head right now. Now, the good thing is, and I think this is something in life we all learn, when things are not going well, no matter who you are, no matter how brilliant you are, no matter how gifted you are, even if you're a Hall of Famer, even if you're the guy, the alpha, the gal, the person, even if you're that, you're going to go through some tough times. You're going to suffer through some adversity. What's most important is you lean on the people who love you, who know you, who can help you. That's the good thing about Russ. Russ at least has some legendary buddies that at this time he can lean on that are there to help. Well, actually, that's not true either. Because according to Richard Sherman and Marshawn Lynch, they can't get to Russ without having to go through somebody else first. And that's also another brutal look for Russ. You got two guys, two legends, two icons, and Richard Sherman and Marshawn Lynch are saying, our guy's on the struggle bus. Our guy really needs us. We want to be there for him. We want to help him. Oh, but wait, I can't hit my dude. I've been to war with this guy. Or I've been in the trenches with this guy. I've been to battle with this guy. I've won the biggest game ever with this guy. We've lost tough games. I want to be there for our guy. Oh, but we can't get to him directly without going through somebody else. That's a brutal look for Russ, because right now every look is a brutal look for Russ. And in the second half and overtime last night, dude hit rock bottom. There's the struggle bus, and then there's being ejected from the struggle bus and having the struggle bus back over you a few times. But they can't help. And by the way, Sherman, Marshawn could help. I'm not saying they can throw the ball for him, make the reads for him, play the game for him, but you can't tell me those two dudes who know him as well as anybody couldn't have something of substance or something to help with. However, they make a great point. No way in hell we go through a manager to get to one of our guys that we went to battle with. I wouldn't either. You know what I wonder? I wonder if Nate or any of the staff are allowed to speak directly to Russ, or if they have to go through his manager too. Does the head coach have to go through his manager? Instead of the OC or the head coach having that direct communication to the quarterback, the manager does. Now it all makes sense. It's not Russ's shoulder, his hamstring. It's not that he just suddenly forgot how to play quarterback overnight. It's communication.